I said the F word. And immediately he goes, all right. Well, that's it. You stop right there. Give him a round of applause. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to. He goes, that's it. Please. That's it. Step off the stage. And I was I put my head down and so embarrassed. I walked down the stage. I was devastated.
Hello and thanks for tuning in to Comedy Means Business. Today we're talking to Max Amini, the fourth comic to join us from our December list of the comics who won 2025. As I wrote at the time, while Max has been grinding his stand-up since the early aughts, 2025 marked a turning point, racking up nearly 16 million views for a self-released special randomly selected, the top-performing comedy special of the year across platforms, and one of the biggest of all time on YouTube. He also sold more than 200,000 tickets on the road, with 150 sold-out shows in 19 countries. By his own account, when Max was coming up, people didn't totally know what to do with him as a performer. But with nearly 26 million followers now, billions of views across platforms, and a huge international footprint, he's quietly built one of the most impressive careers in stand-up today. Joining me to unpack the whole journey, Max talks digital strategy and all the bets he's placed on himself along the way. We also talk about how India emerged as a major international stronghold, and what it means to him to have become the first Iranian-American to headline Madison Square Garden just this month. Max, thank you for being here.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So by the time this episode airs, you'll be the first Iranian-American to headline Madison Square Garden. How are you feeling about that?
Thank you for mentioning that top of the interview. I feel incredible about the opportunity. It's surreal, no matter how big your career gets. When I talk to other comedians who've played MSG, they all tell me the very first time you play it, it's just a different feel. So I'm excited, and it's a very meaningful time for me to play Madison Square Garden. I'm an Iranian-American. I consider myself very American, very Iranian. I like to bring both sides of my culture and make the best of it. Yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
And Iran is going through a revolution right now. So it's a very interesting time for me to play this platform. And I'm excited to not only play it in my best ability, but use this opportunity and my platform to bring awareness and love to my country.
You're also coming off the release of Double Threats, a new special like a month ago. It's racked up like 4 million views. I was there actually. It was a great show. It was a while back. Yeah. Wasn't it like early last year or something?
It was late 2024.
Yeah, there you go.
You were there in the venue.
I was there.
Oh, I didn't know, Matt. That's amazing.
Yeah. What are you proud of with that one?
I'm proud that I cut it the way I cut it. And I'm going to explain this because your podcast, I was telling you earlier, it's a magnificent opportunity for a lot of people in the business to get little nuggets, including myself. So this is a place where we share information we can all learn from each other. And I shot that special, and I put a lot of my own money in that special, and I wanted to land it on a network somewhere really nice. Afterwards, we went into the post house, and we looked at the footage. I said, I don't want this to be not this one.
Yeah.
And my editor, my producer, everybody thought I'm crazy.
So you didn't like the cut.
I didn't want this to be my signature piece. As an hour, it was an hour and 15.
Right.
Right now, what you see, we cut that down to 30 minutes. This was the second special I put in a trash can in some ways, if you think. I salvaged this part, right? I salvaged the parts that I thought is really nice, and I felt like we can go out with this. The fans are going to enjoy this piece. But I shot a special in San Jose. I trashed it. I said then, I got it. I know what I'm looking for. I know the feel, and I know what I'm able to perform. This is not it. And everybody says, "Are you crazy?" And I said, "No, just trust me, guys. We'll do one better." And everybody feels bad when you spend a lot of money and time and effort on a special. So we went into UCLA, 2 shows at this beautiful venue, and we had such an amazing, set. And then I did take the bike and all that stuff to make it exciting for the fans. I watched it again, and I just thought, man, it's not it. It's not the one.
It's just a gut feeling.
Yeah, it's you know what you're capable of and you know what you're delivering. At times, specials are very tricky. I'll speak for myself. When you have all these 7, 8 cameras rolling, there's a lot of pressure. It takes away from your fluidity in so many ways. Many things that night could determine how well this piece will come out. And then this piece will stay for years and years to come. I'm very picky about that. And I decided after I saw it, I said, nah, this one we're not going to do it either. Recently, my guys came to me and said, how about you revisit this? There's some parts of it is so funny. And I watched and I'm like, I agree. And so we released the 30 minutes.
It works because it's like, as a comedian, you need a constant stream of content. It's just never ending. So it kind of works out. You had also released this special Randomly Selected, which was just a phenomenon. Like I wrote this piece December, the Comics Who Won 2025, you were in it. And before doing that, I didn't realize how big your audience is and like with the size of your business, it's kind of incredible. Like it's one of the biggest YouTube specials of all time. So I wanted to kind of unpack that, like, and how you got to where you are. I don't know too much about the early side of your journey. Like, it seemed like you began in the early aughts in LA. You're from Arizona. Could you maybe talk about where you came from?
Absolutely. I was born in Tucson, Arizona. I moved to DC, and then my family moved to Iran. And then when I was a teenager, about 17 years old, I moved back to the States again. Went to high school, and after high school, my father said, major in something in college that you're truly passionate about. And I loved performance, so I decided to become a theater major. And as I went to UCLA acting, I was doing a lot of improv with my friends, and I decided that I want to try stand-up comedy, and my career shaped from there. My career has been a long career and a very difficult career in so many ways, in the sense where I'm American, I'm also Iranian. The industry has always had a difficult time understanding what box to put me in.
Yeah.
And so growing up, I was lucky to be in a lot of movies and TV shows, but nothing that really pops and gives me the career that I wanted at the time. So I had to take everything in my own hands, build a company and build my own brand, because I was not white enough to play the white roles and I wasn't Middle Eastern looking enough to play the Middle Eastern roles. I was just this ambiguous sort of guy that they didn't know what to do with. Every casting director in town loved me. I had my relationship with people in town has always been very pleasant. And everyone has always been rooting for me, but they're like, we don't know. What do we do with this guy? And your gut feeling, the voice inside, especially as an artist, when you work more on your craft, you find yourself. And you are your best captain to sort of guide that ship to the right place. That's how I think it took a lot longer, but I stayed to my style of comedy. I stayed true to my voice. And I build an audience, and the audience is such a loyal, loving audience that I feel like I'm extremely lucky for that.
Do you remember the first time you went on stage and how it went?
Yes, of course. The very, very first time I stepped on stage was at the open mic at the Laugh Factory, 3 minutes. They give you 3 minutes. I was outside the Laugh Factory standing in line with the other comics to get a chance to perform from 11 a.m. And by 8 o'clock, we finally inside, I made the cut and I'm going to perform. There was an old man, God bless his soul, he passed away, with a very deep, very cool voice. And he said, okay, next comedian up, give it up for Amini. And I went on, and you're not allowed to cuss at that open mic.
Oh, interesting.
And as soon as I went on stage, I grabbed the microphone. Within the first 5 seconds, I was nervous. I don't know why I said something, and then realized I said the F word. And immediately goes, all right. Well, that's it. You stop right there. Give him a round of applause. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to. He goes, that's it. Please. That's it. Step off the stage. And I was so, I put my head down and so embarrassed. I walked down the stage. I was devastated. I walked outside. And somebody tapped me on my shoulder. I turned around. I mean, my whole world was crushed. From 11 a.m., I was standing in line. And this guy goes, "Hey, kiddo, what's your name?" I said, "I'm Max." He goes, "My name is Brett." It was Brett Ernst.
Okay.
A great comic, great guy. He goes, "Here's my card. I run a show down the street on Melrose. It's a good show. I felt really bad for what happened in there. Come down, I'll give you a set there, okay?" I said, "Oh, okay, thank you so much." Took his card. I was in a workshop. I was supposed to perform at the Improv at Judy Carter's workshop. I don't know if you've never heard of that? Okay, let me, parentheses, give you this. Judy Carter has a book. She was the biggest name in stand-up comedy in the sense that she started all the workshops. She created a system for comedians to write jokes.
Okay.
And since 20, 25, 30 years ago, this is the number one, at the time it was the most popular workshop, and that's how a lot of people started their comedy career, right? They would take her workshop, and then 4 weeks later, they would just start doing open mics. So I did the same thing. And at the end of this 4 weeks, you get to perform at the Improv in front of a packed house of 200 people, right? So the excitement is just building up. And I knew I'm going to perform, and I was in the workshop, but I just wanted to try an open mic one time before this scenario. Laugh Factory, I got kicked off the stage. I walked up to this club called Ha Ha Cafe. And there was a lady at the door, and I said, "I'm a comedian. I want to do a show here." But I said it so confidently, she thought I'm a comedian that's been working the circuit. She goes, "All right, come back tomorrow night. We got a show here, Bob." And I went backstage, and all the comedians were there. And the guy comes up to me, he goes, "Hey, what are your credits?" I said, "Oh, I don't have any credits, just my first time." And he goes, "Hey, man, you crazy? It's your first time? How did you get on this show?" I said, "Buddy, I just, came last night. I promise you. They told me I can go on." He goes, "Oh my God, this is crazy." They bumped me to the end of the show. And at the very end, there was very few people left in the show. He goes on and he goes, "Hey, man, listen. This guy coming on stage, he's never performed. It's his first time. We don't know how he got on the show, but give it up for Max Amini." I walked on stage and I grabbed the mic and I delivered, and I did okay. And I remember they were laughing, and I'm from DC, and I had, some DC jokes in there. They laughed, and that was my very, very first time before I do the actual workshop.
And did you have a very clear vision early on of what you wanted for yourself for your career? Did you have a specific comedian role model, or did you want to do film and television? Did you wanted to do the whole gamut of entertainment, or was it just, I want to be an amazing stand-up?
I love that question because I've had a lot of growth mentally and spiritually since the time I started, and I really wanted to be an actor, a film and television actor, and I pursued my acting my entire career. But I matured into understanding myself and understanding that my true passion is really in stand-up. But in the beginning, because I went to film school and my friends were all actors, and the era of acting was a lot more sparkly and shiny and cool, and you're young and you want to be part of the cool crew. I wanted to be that actor. I wanted to be the guy who's in that movie. I didn't understand the depth of it. When I understood how powerful stand-up comedy is, when I understood the value of being your own brand, having your own voice, your own impact in the world, and the fact that you can actually have an impact. You can be a performer that's bringing something to the world rather than just playing somebody else's lines. I really, truly fell in love with stand-up again. And it became my mission to just mature that voice. That was the journey, really, wanting to be an actor, then realizing stand-up is my true calling.
How long do you feel like it took you to find your voice as a comic?
There are different stages to that. It took me about 8 years to find my voice in the sense of becoming a solid comedian. Solid means you show up and you deliver. whether the crowd is good, whether the environment is whatever it is.
How you feel that day?
I felt good. I mean,
well, I mean, like, no matter what you feel, you come and nail it, right? It's like,
yeah, you deliver a good show.
mm-hmm.
And regardless of the environment, you know how to deliver you, right? That part took me about 8 years. And I became a good comic in the circuit. The clubs loved me. I was performing. I started building my audience. I would show up to a place. I would sell tickets. After 8 years, I was filling up 300 to 500 seater, theaters. There was another part of my comedy that grew. I think it's after my father passing. I sort of understood the idea of having a message with your comedy. And I was at a different age. And so I wasn't so worried and scared about being funny anymore. It became about I am funny. How can I be more meaningful? And I think that is just a complete different feel.
So let's talk about like embracing who you are and making a brand of yourself when others don't quite know what to do with you. Like, what were the first decisions you made that really started changing your trajectory, helping you to build heat and cultivate a following?
Yeah, I stayed my lane. I was, like I told you, I started stand-up being inspired with my improv. So I was always has always been my strength. And so half of my set when someone comes to see me at a theater is just off the cuff. I talk about different topics off the cuff. I pick on the audience. And there's a lot of in-the-moment sort of comedy. When I started stand-up, that was not cool. And the industry looked down upon somebody who did crowd work. And I didn't care. Honestly. I mean, and really it was the culture back then was, if you didn't have a well-written set, you're not a good comic. Today, it's the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just so scripted, the audience doesn't really feel like you're flexible enough. And they say you're not a real comedian because you don't have the funny bone. I think I would translate it this way. Everybody's different. Everybody's brain works different. The world needs all of us, different voices. And so my voice was that way. And like I said, I'm very lucky that I wasn't influenced by the pressure that the industry kept bringing me. They kept saying, if you don't write this and that, we're not going to have you on this and that show. And I was like, okay. I continued playing my sort of style of comedy. And eventually, I want to say as of 4 or 5 years ago, post-pandemic, all of a sudden the sentiment changed. I've been known for my crowd work comedy. Every comedian knows that that's my strength. I'm known to be one of the best crowd work comics in the circuit. But social media was the power behind this explosion. It ignited.
Yeah.
And
it's interesting because you got to witness the whole evolution of it, because when you started in 2002, Facebook doesn't exist. The platform you're biggest on, Instagram, doesn't exist. So I'm curious, like, could you describe it in terms of your evolution, in terms of embracing that technology as it is moving along, and like
absolutely
how you've made that a tool in your arsenal to really propel this?
A lot of work goes behind that. Social media people underestimate the power of social media. And I think sometimes people underestimate what it takes to be a part of that game. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a good team, and it takes the right theme and the right consistency. All of these elements have to line up for you to be able to succeed on social media. And above all, content is king. You have to have amazing content. If you have amazing content, audiences will find you. I really believe in that. I think a lot of people ask, how do I break through? And I do this, but I only get 100 views. I think people that really bring value and really create quality, and they figure that part out, there's no way they don't hit it. It's a guaranteed. It's like every network who put out a great show, they became, 7 seasons later, became a big name because the content and the show was that good. So that's the main element. I think you have to work really hard because, like you said earlier, Matt, we all need so much of this content. So it's like a black hole that no matter how much you feed it, the next day it wants another one. Then that one's gone.
How long has that been like a huge focal point? Because it's like I said, it's really evolved greatly over a prolonged period of time. As far as like when did it become like the thing that was very, very important in
post-pandemic?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just post-pandemic?
Yeah, because all the way till pandemic, when the pandemic happened, I had just produced and directed my first movie, my first feature film. I was extremely, like I told you, I was extremely dedicated, devoted to my acting and my filmmaking. I had sold 7 TV shows at the time. I made my first feature film, and I had 3 other movies that I had in production. Pandemic hit, everything stops. And 2021, the doors of stand-up slowly opened again. They said, oh, you can sell 20% of a theater with people wearing masks. And I don't know if you remember this era, but It was really hard. So 2021 to 2022, we were still not able to perform. During that time, I had a revelation. I realized this whole filmmaking world is not only holding me back, it's not my first priority. Mm-hmm. It's not my first calling as a person on this journey. And I came to my office one day, and I had my colleagues, and I said, guys, I'm going to tell you something. Tell me if you're on board or not, because I respect their sort of vision. I said, I no longer see film and TV as the focal of our company, focal point. I believe we should become a social media company. We should go all in, stop every effort we're making on these TV shows and all the pitches, etc. Let's go all in social media. After a long discussion, everybody agreed. Everybody was excited. I was excited that they were excited. And it took us a while to even figure out. It took the entire 2022 and half of 2023. It took us to even find the dance. 1.5 years it took us to position ourselves, find how we're going to go about this in a proper way. And once we did, the rest was history.
Is you hitting that level of an audience then in post-pandemic, like hitting 16 million people or whatever?
Yeah.
That's remarkable.
Early 2024 it started.
Is there anything else you can say as far as what you attribute that to? Because it's just like, it's an extraordinary level of connection, I guess.
I think in order to beat the algorithm, it took us a lot of trial and error. And I believe the key was consistency. Look, I have a lot of content. Because I improvise and I do a lot of shows, I come back from every show with tons of footage, and they would cut it. I mean, there was no sort of lack of having content. It was just about what content, how good of a content, and how fast we can keep this moving. Mm-hmm. It took a lot of effort with all these editors. And I was performing, coming back to LA, sitting down with editors all day, every day to keep this ship moving and understanding what's hitting. And my audience became extremely diverse, and we sort of broke mainstream 2024. Every day was something new we're discovering. Oh, okay. I never knew how big my audience was in Greece.
Right. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I mean,
And India. Let me ask you about India.
Yeah.
Because you're said to be like one of the biggest international comedians in India. Jason Zitterman at the New York Times asked me about that when he saw the piece I ran, and he was like, explain that. So can you explain that? Like, how does that happen?
I had a few clips that all went viral in India. And all of a sudden, I had one clip that went viral all over the world. But especially the girl in the video, she's from India. So Indians... That video hit so hard in India that I thought it was a spam. I'll be honest with you. I'm dead serious on this. For 2-3 months, I thought it was bot. I thought someone is like doing this to destroy my account or something. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, it was overwhelming amount of love coming from India. And then I discovered Indians are the most loving, they're the number one race of humans I've seen that they express the love the way they do. See, everybody's got a big heart. Every nation, brings love, but the way they express it, it's magnificent. Okay. So naturally, I'm on stage now and my audience is more and more diverse and I have a lot of Indians coming to my show. So naturally, my Indian content is growing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I always say, I don't know how, but I have such a romance with this country that, this last visit there, I sold 50,000 seats in India in a matter of a week. And my promoter called, he said, if we want to put 50 more thousand tickets on sale, we can do it. And I said, buddy, there's no way physically I'm able to stay longer than 2 weeks. I performed like a machine.
So is that, what kind of venue is that? You're just doing a ton of big theater shows?
Stadiums. No, I played
stadiums.
I played Mumbai. There's a 6,000 seater stadium. That's the biggest stadium they have. I played multiple shows there. Same thing in Delhi. I played, Bangalore was a bit smaller. I played 10 nights in Bangalore, 2 shows a night. I mean, it was a massive run, but they give you so much love, Matt. It's like, it energized me. It made me want to just work harder. It was amazing. To this day, I feel like the Indian shows taught me so much.
What is it like going on the road to all these different countries? Like you went to 19 countries, right, last year? Like, talk about that, the travel experience, and then like what it's like to kind of have to go on stage and address like a bunch of different cultures and like kind of, that just seems like a kind of fascinating thing.
Naturally, I love cultures. I'm curious. I'm really, even before, I've always been the guy who wanted to learn, how do the Koreans do this? How do the Mexicans do that? How does the Africans have this remedy that's mind-boggling? I've always been extremely curious about cultures. I'm also very curious about family dynamics, how different countries and cultures have their family dynamic. And I think that's coming from, I come from an Iranian family that's very emotional, very loving, but also I come from a divorced family and a lot of drama. So for me, how parents have a relationship with their kids, just naturally, I don't know, it's very interesting to me. So I pay attention to these things. And when I go to every country, I like to understand their family dynamics and I like to understand what's special about these people.
Mm-hmm.
And that curiosity plays a big role, in my stand-up. And I think that's the moment I truly relate to every different people. And I think that's where we sort of have that love connection that sparks a lot of good energy.
Yeah, is there some kind of approach to like starting out a set in a city you've never been to, in a country you've never been to, and kind of feeling out the room?
I love your questions. You're so good. No wonder you're a journalist for Deadline. I've never had a conversation this good. I'm truly enjoying this.
All right.
You're like a psychologist who's making me think of these ideas. I love this. If I go to a country I've never been, I go at least 3-4 days earlier. And I don't think anything. I just go around.
Mm-hmm.
I go around. I ask questions. Every taxi I sit in, I ask questions. Every store I walk in, every food I eat, I ask questions about it. And I gather all of this information. And I know how my brain works. I've never written a line in my life. Never. So I gather all of this and I go on stage. Then I go on stage and I started talking about it. And 3-4 shows down the road, I've got a whole 30-minute set about that country already.
Wow. And that evolves every time you revisit?
Every time I revisit. I mean, even here, if I sit in an Uber and my driver is from Pakistan, I ask so many questions about Pakistan. I'm like, this is my time that I could learn about someone's culture. And believe it or not, learn so much from different Uber drivers that I've been in their cars.
I was curious, Dave Chappelle made headlines when he was talking about like, I feel freer speaking outside of the US than I do in it. Is that your experience or is it comparable?
Yeah, I say yes and no. Depends. What Chappelle means by saying that is the politics, right? here in America, you've got the cancel culture. You've got the culture that, you have to pick a team and you have to cater to certain people or certain areas or certain networks or other countries. You don't have that pressure. I think Chappelle is brilliant and he's multi-layered. So when he says something, you got to dissect it. He did a comedy special that got a lot of heat from the LGBTQ community.
Multiple specials.
Okay. So when he says a line like that, he's saying that when I'm in the Middle East and I talk about this topic, nobody's tripping on it, right?
Yeah.
That's like somehow like these little zingers have to do with certain things about his own world. And so, that is true. But also, as a Middle Eastern, I gotta say, to be fair and to have a transparent talk, not every topic in those countries you can actually talk about. And I feel like in the US, we are still way ahead of the world when it comes to freedom of speech, and we should be proud of it. And I do appreciate comics who are pushing the envelope for us to be able to even have more of a voice. And I think comedy is revolutionizing the American culture and the world culture every day. I really believe that.
What did you make of the whole drama around the Saudi festival?
Jealousy.
Jealousy?
I think jealousy. I tell you. Maybe a lot of people.
Oh, jealousy in terms of like the way people respond to it?
The industry and the comedians and the people that responded. I'm wired differently. I'm against every negativity. And even if that was their perspective, it should come from a place of love and education, not from a place, not the way that shaming, money. I've been around so many amazing artists, and I be honest with you, yes, money is important, but not a lot of artists, especially when they reach a certain level, they sell themselves to money.
Mm-hmm.
None of us. We build a career. I didn't become a comedian, nor most comedians didn't become a comedian because they thought they'll be wealthy. No, we did it because we love the art. We love the game. And later you become successful, and the success brings you financial freedom. But you don't sell your entire career for money. That's the first thing I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing I want to say about this topic is there's a lot of politics in the world. And politics tends to attack artists. It's never a good thing because these artists are fragile and artists are your biggest gift. Artists drive the culture to a beautiful place. Artists bring people together. And so attacking the artist is never positive. A country like Saudi Arabia is growing, is opening its doors to other people. It's opening its doors to a much wider horizon to its own people. And I think all of this is great. So why not? Why shouldn't these American artists be a part of something progressive? Go there, help them also to discover the power of comedy. Help them to understand the power of freedom of speech. And if we do talk, nothing bad's going to happen. We just hear each other's perspective. That's a beautiful thing that the American comedians can do for the other side of the world.
Yeah.
And I don't see the harm in that.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not so excited about the attack on the comedians for that topic.
Yeah. That's very interesting. One thing I'm fascinated with you is like, why have you not gone to a streamer? Like, you have the kind of audience that Netflix, for example, would love. They really want people, it seems like, with built-in huge followings. Like, have you had meetings with the streamers? Like, what has been the rationale behind staying on YouTube?
Right now, a lot of amazing conversations are happening. I'm very excited for this chapter. I feel like I've been sitting on the bench for a long time, and finally they're like, okay, we'll play. Come on in. We see you. Come in and shoot, throw a few shots. Great conversations are happening. I never held back. It was just that it took the industry a while to discover me, and everybody has their own journey. I don't know why it was meant to be for me I'm the same comedian I was 5 years ago, and I was a few years before that. My comedy chops has not changed. This is how my career went. The industry didn't see me until recently, until the numbers like really got their attention.
It's interesting. The comic I'm talking to next week, Ali Sadiq, and he has, I feel like, a similar story to you in the sense that he built this whole unbelievable audience on his own. I'm curious to talk to him because it seemed like in his case, like maybe he wanted the independence, like he's doing something interesting, and there's something cool about just going straight to your fan base, I'm sure, and him being able to even promote other people on his channel. But so for you, it's just like you're open to the possibilities.
Absolutely. And I'm going to listen to his podcast.
Very good.
I love that topic.
Yeah,
that's a beautiful
I'm curious
topic.
about him because he's got some interesting stuff going on as well. So what is something that you're still chasing now that isn't about scale? You've achieved the scale. I mean, it can continue to grow, but like what are you hungry to achieve?
Just quality. Just quality. I'd like to make the quality of my work more meaningful. I like to bring more spirituality, not in the sense of more spirit in the comedy. And I'm constantly challenging that by the stories I bring in, how I open the show, how I close the show. My live shows are just really a nice, we go many different places. People leave the theater, they don't feel like they just saw a comedy show. They really feel like they were on a journey with me. And that's something that I just like. That I'm all in that sort of phase right now.
What can you share about what you have coming up? Are you on a big tour this year? It seemed like you're on the road right now.
Yeah, every year I'm on I've been touring for 15 years. What's coming up that's exciting is Madison Square Garden in 10 days, and then the O2 Arena in London. So I've got these big shows. I'm playing the Dolby Theater 4 or 5 nights in Los Angeles. I have a residency at the Wynn now, which is really cool, and I love that room.
Cool. That's amazing. How often are you there?
I'm there every 3 months. I'm there.
What is that experience like to be like a Vegas residency comic?
I'll tell you a great story. The very first time I played the room was this last December, and they said, we like this comedian, but let's, watch him in his elements, and then they would decide whether they want to give me a residency or not. So first show, first night, I get on stage, I'm doing my crowd work, and I don't know this, but I have happened to be picked on the COO of Wynn and his wife. And I'm just going at it. And it's so funny. And we're all laughing. And after the show, I come back into my green room, and somebody knocks open the door, and the promoter goes, the CEO of Wynn here wants to say hi. I said, oh, of course, please bring him in. And then the guy that I was roasting for 15 minutes walked in. I go, whoa. I said, man.
Just a random person you picked out of the audience?
Yeah. I said, I'm so sorry. Nobody told me it was you. And he laughed and he said, oh my God, it was the best experience. We had a great time. And so it was so random. And he really enjoyed the show. And he said, look, man, we don't like a lot of comedians, but we really like you. And we're looking forward to having you and do a lot more things with you. So that was exciting. And I left Vegas, and then I came back, and UTA called me and said, they're offering you a nice residency there. And they were really excited. So,
wow.
Yeah. It's a fun room, Matt. I don't know if you've been in that showroom.
I don't know.
It's great for comedy. You will love it.
It's a fun place to see a show. Yeah. So any final thoughts as far as like young comics and what they might learn from your story?
I think from my story, if I want to highlight anything, I would say any young comic needs to put all their focus on discovering who they are, discovering their own journey, not to compare themselves with anybody else, and work really, really hard. If you love the game, the hard work comes naturally. And I think this is the magnificent era for comedy. I mean, this is, if you're a talented guy with a big heart that wants this so bad, you are guaranteed to make it now. I never would say this like 5-10 years ago, but right now it's just beautiful time for comedy. Anybody that likes this game, I hope they go all in.
Well, congrats on all your success. It's such a cool success story. And yeah, thank you so much for stopping in.
Oh, my pleasure. Matt, I really enjoyed this.
I'm glad.
Thank you so very much.